Hello everyone, this is the Corrupted Paladin. This month holds the legendary 25th anniversary of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. As a childhood figure whose game series I've been hooked on the longest, it only feels right that I should dedicate a month to him and have some of my first videos be based off his content. Just not his newer content.
I didn't even bring any weapons. Here, check my pants. No.
I guess I should mention that my days of Sonic ended at Generations. You know, a high note. Everything after Generations is just not Sonic to me. It's Sonic fanfiction, but not Sonic. Speaking of fanfiction, let's talk about the only Sonic show I could still watch without feeling weird. Not Boom!
Sonic, he's got an attitude.
Surprisingly, not either of those two. That one's okay too, but I'm probably going to be talking about the one that no one really likes. There it is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really? Sonic X? You like that show? And to be honest, it's a love-hate relationship. There's things I love about the show. And there are things I despise about the show. And before you go ripping on me for liking a show dubbed by 4Kids, I should let you know that I did watch the Japanese sub and I did enjoy it more. Actually, the Japanese sub is so good that if you are a Sonic fan, go watch that one. It's really good. Will that dub have an influence on the countdown? Of course it will. Episodes that were okay in the dub were actually phenomenal in the sub, and the ones here are just as accounted for. Now, I don't have any real standards for the episodes, though there are 3 key points that make a good Sonic episode for me. Action, humor, and feels. The Triforce that Sonic Boom lacks. Why are they so important? Because those are the things that the good parts of Sonic are made up of. That's probably why I like Sonic X the most, because it's the only show that's got a good formula of all 3 in it. Now, before I ramble on, let's get on with our list, shall we? Wow, starting off the list with a good episode, I see. After discovering a disturbing event on an unknown planet, Shadow heads to the Blue Typhoon to hunt down the person who may have something to do with it, Cosmo. No one could deny the developing friendship and relationship between Cosmo and Tails, and it's very evident in this episode. If you're a Cosmo or a Tails fan, you will definitely enjoy this episode thoroughly. Basically, Shadow's on a hunt for Cosmo for an unapparent reason at the start of the episode. Gradually, you may start to piece things together, and near the end of the episode, you might find the whole reason behind Shadow's attitude, but most of the time, it's just kind of a mystery. It's just a whole build-up to it. Once revealed, though, it leaves just enough confusion and suspense for the viewer to actually want to watch the next episode. My reason for loving it? As a kid, this episode can be kind of creepy. Shadow goes to very violent lengths to kill Cosmo, taking out Sonic and Knuckles in the process. If you're a Shadow fan, you don't learn much about him, except that I can easily take out the best of the Sonic characters, but it's just really fun to watch. The suspense that you feel for the episode is great and still kid-friendly. And what's surprising? 4Kids actually didn't do a bad job. Hey, let me explain. Of course, you have a couple different alterations standard to 4Kids, but the dubbing from the actors weren't bad, and they actually left in blood. Blood! That's huge for 4Kids! This is just a stellar episode from Sonic X. Perfect? No, but if you want proof that Sonic X can be action thriller, this is your episode.
This will be too easy.
Shadow? What in the world's he doing here?
Can you tell that I like Sonic X Shadow yet? Sonic, Knuckles, and Amy explore a strange mansion in a weird planet. Chris and Cosmo explore another part of it while Chris tells Cosmo about another hedgehog who can use the Chaos Emerald's power, Shadow. When a monster arises from the mansion and Sonic and the gang aren't strong enough to defeat it, will they lose the battle or will they get help from an old foe? So, you know how film Batman used to be light and colorful and then Tim Burton came into the picture? That's a good comparison to this episode. Sonic X had its dark moments, but you never had episodes in a row that were just all very dark. This episode was the catalyst to this darkness. Everything before, besides a few moments, were usually light and colorful and full of laughs. From this episode on, there were hardly laughs unless you're laughing at 4Kids' failure. This is an episode that I recommend the Japanese dub for. It's a very dark episode, and I feel that's a more mature Halloween-like episode than the one found in Season 1. Maybe it's the vegetable-like state you see Shadow in before he rises from his coma. Maybe it's the eyes littered throughout the episode, or maybe it's the fact that the team isn't sure of the Metarex's true intentions yet. It's a creepy, action-filled episode that deserves a watch.
What in the world? Oh!
Get him!
I'll be honest, this one's a guilty pleasure. Dark Oak and his army of Metarex army have confronted Sonic to take him down, but how will Sonic fight off all the Metarex and Dark Oak on his own? When all the 7 emeralds are together, both Sonic and Shadow turn into their super forms. When Shadow demands the emeralds from Sonic and he refuses, Sonic and Shadow face off each other. Just as they're fighting, a cosmic vortex opens up and begins to suck everything. As everything gets sucked up, what will happen to Sonic and the Metarex? There's so much going on in this episode, there really isn't even a structured plot there. The episode is solely focused on the action aspect, which might be annoying to some, but honestly, one episode of that is just fine. There are some side plots going on, but come on, do you care? You just want to see Sonic and Shadow knock the crap out of each other. This is an episode you might just want to turn off the audio, play some instrumental His World or Endless Possibilities, and just watch.
Are you going to give me those emeralds? Or am I gonna take them from you by force?
Quiet. I've been here before. We're back in the past.
Chaos absorbs the last Chaos Emerald, ascending to its ultimate form and flooding Station Square. Without the emeralds, Sonic and his companions are forced into a desperate battle against perfect chaos. Robotnik shows up in the egg carrier too, but it's destroyed. Tikal, the ancient Echidna who's been appearing to Sonic and Knuckles in visions of the past, appears and thinks that all hope is lost. However, the gang brings the Chaos Emeralds together, and Sonic uses their power to go super. Will Super Sonic be a match to Perfect Chaos? If you haven't played Sonic Adventure, or even if you have, this is a fun episode to watch. It's just the Sonic X edition of the ending to Sonic Adventure. A great game, by the way. One of the reasons this episode is great is because it actually feels like the characters have more of a purpose here than it did in the game. You know, besides Chris. The best part, obviously, is the fight between Super Sonic and Perfect Chaos. Though I feel that the game gave it more justice, this version of the fight is not bad. That and the feels are still real here. Are they as strong? No, but you can still feel the relief from Tikal, Chaos, and many of the others during this episode. This is also one you need to watch in Japanese.
Oh, all right. Take it. So he's inviting us to his base? Let's send him an RSVP on a missile.
Yeah, remember when I mentioned Dark? One of the Metarex named Black Narcissus invites the gang to his base. Cosmo goes off there on her own and demands to know everything about her ancestors and the Metarex. But apparently, Black Narcissus set up a trap. Chris goes off to save her and he gets captured as well. Sonic goes to the base to save them both, and they're being held as prisoners. This episode shows a side of Sonic that I wish we could see more of, but at the same time I feel like we saw too much. This episode holds the infamous Dark Sonic form that everyone goes on about. Is it overrated? Yes, but you can see why. After seeing his friends being hurt and empty of hope, Sonic becomes so enraged at this torment this guy inflicted on his friends that he literally has a mental breakdown and destroys a couple of robots in a matter of seconds. And not just any robots, ones that could match his speed and strength. He destroyed them in a matter of seconds. If anything bugs me about this episode, it's the damsel in distress Chris and the completely out of character Robotnik.
I don't like the way you attacked Chris and Cosmo. It's one thing to take them prisoner and threaten them, but when you actually hurt somebody, that's going too far.
Weren't you the one who tried to kill Sonic in Sonic Adventure 2?
My admirable adversary.
Wait, you did the same thing in this TV show! It's even in the Japanese version! Having a hostage is okay, but hurting them? Eggman would never! As he shoves a little animal into a robot. I see how it is. Good episode if you're looking for some dark words and actions from the Blue Hedgehog. I'm not really biased on any version, English or Japanese is fine.
Incredibly naive. Don't you realize you've been tricked?